Thank you, Dr. Meghani, for sharing with us the issues facing Hindus in America. Our next speaker is Shri Shankaracharya, who will speak on relevance of Hinduism in America and Hindu human rights. After a long period of study and sadhana, Shankaracharya was adopted into Hindu Dharma over 35 years ago by Gurudev Sivaya Subramaniya Swami. He assisted in the founding of several temples in America and has for 8 years taught the Sri Venkateshwara Temple Youth Camp each summer in Pennsylvania, professionally benefiting from a 27-year history during diverse market conditions. Shankaracharya, registered investment advisor, manages wealth for families, individuals, and retirement plans. He has appeared on CNBC and Bloomberg Television and has co-hosted a syndicated radio show. He has conducted extensive studies and analysis of markets and has written about behavioral finance. He served as a Budget and Finance Commissioner for the city of Davis, California. He graduated from the University of Southern California Financial Planning Program in 1985 and earned a CFP designation the same year. This year, Katirji, a fourth-generation Californian, celebrates 30 years of his marriage, has 2 grown children, and is active in community charitable work. I now invite Shri Shankaracharya to speak on relevance of Hinduism in America and Hindu human rights.
Thank you. Namaste to all the beautiful, luminous souls out here today. I didn't know there'd be luminaries from so many parts of the world who are already active in the great work we have here in America as Hindus. Being in this room kind of brings back memories. 1 year ago, my daughter was married in this room, on this stage, about where you're sitting, actually. One of those indelible memories. So I've been asked to speak today about the relevance of Hinduism in the US and about Hindu human rights. It's a very timely topic on this particular day because today is the 47th anniversary of Gandhi-inspired Martin Luther King's famous "I Have a Dream" human rights speech on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. on August 28, 1963. So here we're talking about another set of human rights for the Hindu community today. I'd say Dr. Martin Luther King has been quite successful if we look at our chief executive, and I'm hoping that we'll continue to expand the leadership roles politically, in business, in medicine, in science, that Hindus are so prominent in already, along the same trajectory. As far as human rights worldwide, I'll bet most of you know most of the problems already. Bangladesh, Kashmir, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Fiji. And just this morning I got a news bulletin, handed it to Mahirji, about the Sri Lankan government that is not only not repairing Hindu temples after the war as they promised they would, but they're building Buddhist viharas on top of them. So Hindus face a lot of issues worldwide. And no one covers that better than Hindu American Foundation. Mahirji's co-founder, and each year they publish a report on human rights. I urge each one of us who are involved in any form of seva and outreach for the Hindu community to get on the mailing list and get that book. It describes what's going on in the world much better than any other publication, and certainly much better than I can here today. Of course, we as Hindus, we traditionally spend time at the temple, in our home shrine, looking within, and knowing that we're creators of our own karma. And so we ask quietly, what did we do in the past to create some of this denigration, some of the ill effects we see today? And the answer is in here, in our hearts. It's always here. Sometimes painful to admit, but it is discoverable. And it's certainly not my place to stand here in comfortable America in the air-conditioned room and articulate or speculate on what's happening thousands of miles away. But I think we look at it that way and say, what is it that's happened in the cycle of karma that's caused this, and how can we break those cycles and become free as a worldwide community? In America, there are some human rights issues that haven't been mentioned yet. When I gave my 18 classes to 100 Hindu youth this summer, I gave one class on medical ethics and Hindu Dharma. And that was a compilation of the 33 leaders who met at the World Parliament of Religions in Melbourne and formulated and answered some of the medical ethics questions that are on everyone's mind today. And that was the most popular class because a lot of the teenagers in the 100-odd group planned to enter the medical profession. And their parents, they wanted to know too, what are the Hindu views on these issues? Things like assisted suicide, the right to die, abortion. The Hindu scriptures say definite things on a lot of these issues. And so that's a presentation that would take an hour, which I won't give today, but happy to be available for Hindu groups that would like to hear that. But in America, we have a different problem. We have too many rights. We have so many rights. We have so much freedom that many of the Hindu community, present company accepted because you're here today, many in the community are frittering away. As Mahirji pointed out, we're freer in America than at any other place in history or geographically, practically. We have so many rights that, even more than in India, I would say, in the sense that the Indian government has taken over and runs many temples. That would be unthinkable here. So the question I think we have, after we've joined HAF and after we've done our seva and after we've spoken up to the editors, is what are we personally doing to make sure we're taking advantage of this freedom? As Mihir pointed out, millions of Hindus have died and suffered so that we could still maintain our tradition. You know, did Shivaji stop the expansion of Muslim rule so that we could listen to our iPod all day and become possessed by iPod music? Did Gandhiji live his life and get shot so that we could be MT vidiots? No. They did all that so that we could have the freedom to practice our religion. For us, for a Hindu, a human right is the right to pursue divinity, the right to achieve divinity, and the right to integrate the divine into our human life. And those souls who see light within their head when they meditate, those perceptive people who live a dharmic life, should sit at the back of the bus no more in American society. We should continue to become the leaders and the changers for the land that we have adopted as our home. So, because life is kind of a zero-sum game. Every minute we spend frittering away precious years is a minute we've sort of desecrated the memory of our ancestors. And it's a year we've kind of disinherited ourselves from this legacy. So, I feel a little bit like I'm carrying coconuts to Kauai by saying some of these things, because you already are the sevaks of the community being here today. Nevertheless, I think as a group we can all think about some of these things and perhaps formulate ways to inspire our family who might be doing something less productive today, or our friends who might not be as inspired as you are to have come here today. So, realizing that this is a special time, now what? What do we do? What do we do? How does it work? I think it works like this, that we have a foundation of seva. We have a foundation of helping at the temple, bringing oil, bringing milk, washing the windows, sweeping the floors. And in a quiet moment after we've done that for some period of time, God graces us with Satchitananda, with Chaitanya. And we feel this very different feeling, and we have this very deep perception, and start actually seeing some of the things that we're being told about here today. We see God flowing through all things. We see God in all people. And then what happens next? To nurture this realization, to prolong it, we go home and we dedicate one room of our house as our shrine room, as our spiritual laboratory, as our workshop, to nurture this Satchitananda experience. If you have one already, clean it. If it's already clean, then inspire all the members of the family to actually use it for its purpose. Bring the Satchitananda home from the temple is the next step. And if we look at Satchitananda and see God in everyone, then one naturally wants to do what are formerly called and thought of as rules. One sees that they're actually tools. For instance, if you go home and you've had Satchitananda experience, you see God in everyone, you naturally won't want to eat something you see God in, like an animal. And you'll naturally be kind, and you'll naturally want to help people. So in this sense, Hindu Dharma is not a set of rules, and I think that's one reason why we don't see a lot of teenagers and kids present at some of these meetings, is that it's presented as a rule set. You must do this, you must do that. I think a much more positive way of looking at it is to realize that these are all tools. You know, you must go to the temple every week. No, the temple is the place where the gods, the great psychiatrists of Hinduism, the great stress therapists of Hinduism reside, and we go there every week because we want to give them all our stress and problems and become better people. So in a sense, right in the present, Hindu Dharma is reborn again each and every time one of us experiences Satchitananda. And you say, oh, well, what's Satchitananda? How can I experience that? There are several people in this room today experiencing Satchitananda. It's not an out there thing. It's something that through yoga practice, and through prayer and devotion is attainable by each of us. So each time we experience that, then Hindu Dharma is reborn again, because you experience that and then you want to do all these things that were formerly rules. And now you see them as tools, as good things, as ways to protect and nurture and grow this experience. And of course, that's why it's called Sanatan Dharma, which means the perennial religion. It's reborn in each truth seeker. So in summary, Hindu Dharma is relevant in the US, as it is all over the world, as a repository, as a